So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. You back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, April 21st. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Wednesday, April 21st here today. Hopefully everybody had a good rest of their day yesterday and enjoyed another good sports night last night. The Nets got a win. Rangers struggled. They took the loss. And the Yankees got a win. The Yankees actually won a game. We moved to 6-10 on the season. Snapped the 5-game skid. Snapped the 5-game losing streak. Snapped the 5-game awfulness as we get the win yesterday. It wasn't pretty. It was not a pretty win. It wasn't one of those things where, you look at it and says, oh, wow, well, this looked like the New York Yankees. No, it wasn't pretty. It was relatively ugly the way we scored our runs. I mean, obviously it was a Gio Urshela home run and stuff, but then the final 2 runs, a pass ball and a 4-pitch walk. It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done nonetheless, and I was talking to someone yesterday about it. I'm very happy the Yankees won. I am. I mean, that might have been the most excited I felt this season to get a win. With the 5-game losing streak, with how terrible we've been playing, with the media been crushing us. I've been crushing my own team, obviously. With the team not playing well, with there being no pitching, with there being no hitting. That win felt so good last night as a fan to sit there and watch that game and see them get the win was really good, felt really nice. It was ugly, but we got the win nonetheless. But hey, I'm still not satisfied. This team's still 6-10. Still not satisfied. We got to still win. We can't win one game and expect that's going to satisfy the fan base or me. We still got to be better than that. So, obviously it's nice to get the win and all, but we got to turn our focus today and try to beat the Braves again today. And if we do that, then we go into tomorrow, headed into the 8-game road trip we got coming up, 4 in Cleveland, 4 in Baltimore. So, as a Yankee fan, you got to try to be optimistic as a sports fan whenever you can. You just got to hope the Yankees, this is the start of something. You got to hope that this is the start of a 5-game win streak maybe instead of a 5-game losing streak, right? You just got to hope this is the start of something. And obviously something that, obviously with us being, not playing that well this season, sometimes one win can spark a team. Hopefully that's what the case was. Hopefully that win yesterday that we got, the solid performance from Jameson Taillon, our bullpen getting the job done, 5 strikeouts to finish out the game, right? Chapman got the save, right? Hopefully yesterday's game lights a spark under us, and hopefully this is where the turning point turns here. This is where we turn around the season. Our season started off really badly through these first 15 games. Now this is hopefully the time where, hey, this is it. This is where this season gets back onto the right track, and this is where we look like the New York Yankees and the team everyone expected us to look like. So hopefully that's the case, but a good win for the Yankees. It wasn't pretty. It was relatively ugly, the way we scored our runs. We got the job done, and that's all that matters. The Rangers took a tough loss yesterday, 6-1. I mean, it just wasn't good. I mean, beating the Devils, 4 straight games, and then, obviously the Devils aren't that good. They're one of the worst teams in the NHL, but we got the job done. We did our job. We beat them by, big time, and then we just came out flat yesterday. And, you're hoping as a fan that, that's just one of the hiccups, because you can't have any hiccups, and we now only have 10 games to go. So that really hurt us yesterday because the Bruins also won, so we're now 6 points behind the playoff spot. And the Bruins still have 2 games in hand, so as Rangers fans, we just have to root heavily against the Bruins. We really do. And the Rangers also got to take care of their own business. So the Rangers start up a 2-game set tomorrow against the Flyers. Then they start up a 2-game set against the Sabres. Then the Islanders again. Then they head back to the Islanders. And then they kind of finish out the year that way. So hopefully, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm hoping that we make the playoffs. I want us to make the playoffs. I would love for us these final 10 games to win 8 or 9 or 10 of them, or at least win 7 out of the next 10 after the Bruins lose and make the playoffs. That would be the perfect scenario. But with the way the Rangers are playing and they look last night, it didn't look great. So Rangers got to find a way to turn it around. They play tomorrow. Rangers have a day off today. Yankees play today. Knicks play today. Knicks continue to roll their 7-game win streak. And the Nets also play today. They won yesterday. It's a back-to-back. They beat the Pelicans yesterday. They played today against a struggling Toronto Raptors team. So hopefully the Nets can take advantage of that and pick up another win. If we win tonight, that will be the 40th win of the season for the Brooklyn Nets. So nothing major, but a little, just a little side note. If we win tonight, that will be our 40th win of the season. We would move to 40-19 on the year. We're right now 39-19, so we are 20 games above 500. If we win today, we will be 21 games above 500 and 40-19 on the season. I believe we would be the fourth team to hit 40 wins this season. So I think that I would say that would be pretty cool if you ask me. So, but yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the topics for today. If you're an Eagles fan watching this, I'm sorry. But the Eagles just seem to get dumber each day goes by. As the Philadelphia Eagles make another puzzling decision today. As the Philadelphia Eagles decide that there's going to be quarterback competition with Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is not the week one starter right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to go out, looks like draft a quarterback, bring him in, and have week one competition. There's going to be competition in training camp. Whoever is the better quarterback will make the roster, will make the opening, or will be the week one starter. So this is a complete move that I think is completely wild. I don't think the Eagles should even make this move. I don't think it's a smart move. And if I was an Eagles fan today, I would be very frustrated about this move. I'll tell you why. Another puzzling decision for the Philadelphia Eagles. I was out telling people earlier, the Eagles make the New York Jets look like a genius team. They make the New York Jets look like geniuses. And I'm not saying the Jets have made some questionable decisions recently. They're over their franchise. They've just made so many questionable decisions. Now, with Joe Douglas, I believe we're headed in the right direction, but I'm talking about some of these other moves we made. I'm not going to get into the Jets, though. This is about the Eagles. But the Eagles make another very questionable decision. I've talked about this a couple times about how it's just not a smart move. So we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. We'll get into that coming up. Then I wanted to talk about the NHL playoff picture. Obviously, I mentioned a little bit ago with the Rangers. I've been talking a lot about the Rangers trying to get into the playoffs. I kind of wanted to do a big, broad, kind of across the league playoff picture. There's a lot of teams right now. The Blues and Coyotes are fighting for that final spot. For their final spot in the playoffs in their respective division. The Predators and Stars are battling it out. You still got the Flames and Canadiens battling it out. And then you got the Rangers and Bruins. So and I feel like in every division there's at least one of those. There's a competition going on. And the playoff picture this season, and a lot of people believe this, with 56 games, it's about the 10-game mark. It's going to come down to the final 10 to 5 games of the year is what a lot of people believed it's going to come down to. So we're at about the 10 to 5 game mark now. Some teams have played a little more. Some teams played a little less. But we're around the 12, 13 to like 7, 8 game mark left in the season. So the New York Rangers are still battling. But I wanted to take a look around the league and kind of give you some of my playoff predictions. So I'll get into that. Not going to talk too much about the Rangers with that because I've mentioned them millions of times on the podcast. I'm going to talk more about the other teams. The Dallas Stars, Nashville Predators, the Canadiens Flames, the Blues Coyotes. And you obviously got the Rangers and Bruins, but I've talked about them so many times. So we'll get into that. Then we'll get into the New York Sports Update. Today we got the Nets on, Knicks are on, Rangers have a day off, Yankees are on, Mets are on. Mets had a tough loss last night to the Cubs, 3-1. Yankees obviously got the win yesterday, 3-1. So hopefully the New York Yankees can get the win today and start a little bit of a 2-game win streak. It's small, but for a team that's 6-10 and for a team that is struggling, it would still be nice to get any win you can. So, obviously, like I said, hopefully yesterday's win, although it wasn't the prettiest thing ever, although Jameson Taillon pitched really well, but the way we got our runs, it wasn't the prettiest way ever. It wasn't pretty at all. We got the job done. That's all that matters. Let's do it again today. That's what I want to see out of the New York Yankees today. And, hey, the Yankees, Charlie Morton, it was a little tough to hit off of, but hey, it was still tough to hit off of, but we got the Braves to the bullpen, and that's all that matters. And I go back to an at-bat with Brett Gardner where he really reached Charlie Morton's pitch count. He started the inning, I believe, with 78. After Gardner's first at-bat of a 10-pitch at-bat, he got him to 88. There's a chance Gardner doesn't do that. Morton comes out for another inning. That completely changes the complexion of the game. So, Good win for the Yankees. They play today against the Braves. Wrap up this quick two-game interleague set with the Braves before heading out onto their 8-game road trip. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So Jalen Hurts, not named Eagles starting quarterback, head coach says it will be open competition. So I'm going to start off by saying this, and then I'll get into the Jalen Hurts and actual Eagles thing. Right? I always talk about the Jets, about, them questionable moves, them of their coaching hires, their draft picks, the players they've signed before. I always talk about it. This offseason, I've been a little bit more positive because we've done the right things. I believe we hired the right coach. I believe we got the right GM. I liked our free agent moves. And I believe we're headed in the right direction with all the draft picks that we've had. But I always talk about the Jets, and I always have made fun of them. I've always ranted about the Jets. I've always talked about it. You know how it was during the season when they went 2-14. After each week they won, or each week they lost, I was telling you. I was giving you a blunt, not sugarcoating it, about how bad they were. Obviously, this offseason it's been much better because I do believe the Jets are headed in the right direction with our management and hopefully with all this draft capital. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, I believe the Eagles are headed in the complete wrong direction. And the Philadelphia Eagles are in a situation right now where we see this typically around sports, where an organization, a team, a franchise, whatever you want to say, sometimes is on the brink of either entering an insane rebuild or on the brink of, okay, maybe we can be competitive. There's some of those teams out there. For example, a team like the Houston Texans. They're on the brink, I believe, of entering a huge rebuild. And they are. They genuinely are. I don't believe the Watson's going to be there for much longer. I believe that they're going to strip everything down and they're going to start over. I do believe the Texans are about to enter what's going to be a long 3-4 year rebuild until they make the playoffs again. I really do believe they're going to be entering a deep, long, dark rebuild. That's just how it is. A lot of times you see that. I believe that with the Texans. Now, you could see that with multiple teams. The Astros, for example. I don't want to say the Astros are going to enter a rebuild, but there's a chance Carlos Correa doesn't sign next season. They already lost George Springer. Verlander's getting older and got Tommy John. They are playing. They are having a decent year this year. They're 7-8 or something. But they're two. Them two also have lost some pieces, and they very well could possibly lose some more pieces. They could be entering a rebuild. So there's multiple teams you see where they're on the brink of it. The Rangers a couple years ago, they were on the brink of a possible, either try to add all this talent here and try to just go for it, or stop here, sell at the deadline, and kind of start over a little bit. The Rangers chose to do that. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I've said this so many times about multiple teams, the Philadelphia Eagles are about to enter their rebuild, their start over from the Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz era. They're about to enter that blindfolded, walking backwards. The Philadelphia Eagles, what the stuff that they are doing, it seems like they have no clue what in the world they're doing. Their head coach, it seems like he is completely lost and he doesn't know what to do. The management up front, they have no clue what they're doing. The Philadelphia Eagles look lost. They look seriously lost. And I'm not an Eagles fan, but to the Eagles fans out there, I would genuinely really be concerned where they are taking your franchise. I believe the Eagles are about to take the organization, Nick Sirianni, this coaching staff, they're about to take the Eagles organization, and it's like a snow globe. Shake it up. They're about to just shake everything up, and it's going to completely just blow up on them right in front of their face. The Eagles make another puzzling decision today. They're not going to name Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback week 1. Nick Sirianni said today or whatever, he said, we're not going to name him our quarterback yet. There's going to be competition in the offseason. Now, obviously, Jalen Hurts was the Philadelphia Eagles draft pick last season. They obviously took Jalen Reagor in the first round. The second round they took Jalen Hurts. Now, it obviously caused definitely some stir up. It obviously caused some controversy. I'm not an Eagles fan, obviously, but as a NFL fan and as a person that follows NFL, I actually thought I thought it was actually a good move. I was very high on Jalen Hurts coming out of Oklahoma. I know, obviously, Alabama, it didn't end well there when they brought in Tua, and obviously Hurts got benched, and they took him out. He transferred to Oklahoma, all that stuff. I don't have to rehash that, but we all know what happened there. He went to Oklahoma, did really well, was in the conversation for the Heisman, did all that good stuff with Oklahoma. I really thought he was good with Oklahoma. I think his true talent, I don't think Alabama really wanted him as much as they really wanted to go to Tua. I think when a team really wanted him, he really showed out. He did well in Oklahoma. The Eagles actually drafted him. So I actually thought it was a really good move when they took him, because we all knew the Carson Wentz and Eagles kind of era was, in a way, it was kind of headed to... It was almost like it was almost headed to a boiling point. Carson Wentz was a little frustrated with the Eagles. The Eagles were a little frustrated with Wentz. The fan base was kind of split. They were kind of like... The fan base at first kind of gathered around Jalen Hurts, but then half of the fan base still believed in Wentz. It was one of the things like the New York Jets situation with Sam Darnold. Half the fan base kind of gathered around Darnold and said build around him, and half the fan base kind of said we start fresh. That's kind of what the Eagles situation was in. So they traded Wentz. Go do that. I don't really care. They traded Wentz. You would assume, though, that Jalen Hurts was to be your starting quarterback. And I feel like this for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if we're sitting here and they're playing playoff football in January, then I was completely wrong. But I can almost guarantee you this is going to be an Eagles team this season that's going to be terrible, going to finish dead last in the NFC East, and are going to be the laughingstock of the league. Because I'll tell you why. Okay, this is an Eagles team that has a lot of issues. They have a lot of problems. They really do. They have a lot of problems. They're a team that's got a lot of veterans that are about to retire and not the same as they were a couple years ago. And you've also got guys... You also just got positions that are just a glaring need. You have positions that are a glaring need. Obviously you got a receiver. Your receiver position's a glaring need. Carson Wentz last season was up there and was high on the league of most sacked quarterback last season. They needed an offensive line. They could also use another secondary. They lost Jalen Mills, I believe, right? They could also use another secondary guy. They could also use a defensive lineman. They lost a dead veteran this season, a defensive lineman, right? This is an Eagles team that has lost so much, and they have a lot of holes in their roster. They have a lot of areas that they could build on. And one of the areas, there's always that, what people say. You got to, start with your, build your weaknesses, and then your strengths, you'll take care of, right? You don't build around your strengths. Right now, the Eagles right now, strength. The Eagles do not need a quarterback right now. They've got Jalen Hurts. In the games he played last season after Carson Wentz got benched, the team looked a whole lot better, and Jalen Hurts looked like an NFL-ready, hungry quarterback that wanted to win. He wanted to win. The Eagles were down in the dumps. He didn't get them back to the playoffs, but he did get them to play about 2, 3, 4 meaningful games down the stretch. Then they obviously got eliminated, but he had the Eagles in games. He had the Eagles fan base get excited. I feel like Eagles fans got a glimpse of the future, what it could be with Jalen Hurts, the games he played last season. And now the Philadelphia Eagles are completely destroying that. They're completely destroying that. Like the fan base, after Wentz got traded, they've gathered around Jalen Hurts. They realize what this guy can do. He can use his legs and run. He's got good arm strength. He's accurate. He's smart. He can read the line of scrimmage very well, right? He's a good player. He's a very good player. And he fits the Eagles system. So why in the world go out, waste a first-round draft pick on a quarterback, bring him in that might not even start week 1? This is a lose-lose for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a complete lose-lose. I'll tell you why. You draft a quarterback. Okay, let's say you draft him. Let's just say, I don't know, it might be Trey Lance. There's a possibility of Trey Lance. Let's just say Wilson, Lawrence, Mac Jones, Fields are off the board by the time the Eagles get. They're all going to be off the board. They might take Trey Lance. It's a very possibility that they take Trey Lance. Now, do they go out and maybe wait till second round to draft a quarterback and in the first round draft a receiver? That's a possibility. But you might go ahead and go take Trey Lance. Let's just say they take Trey Lance. That's their first round pick. Boom, they just blew that. That's it. Now, guess what? You have 2 quarterbacks with nothing around them. Absolutely nothing around them. They don't have a good offensive line. They don't got a good receiving core. They just lost their really good tight end. And Zach Ertz he's out of his prime, but they just lost their tight end. and Zach Ertz. They got Dallas Goedert, but I don't know if he's going to be the guy. He's had some moments, but consistency's been a little bit of an issue with him. He has a really good week one week, and then he struggles, and now he's a really good week. Maybe you got, if you want to be positive, you want to be optimistic, maybe, obviously he was kind of splitting time with Ertz a little bit there. Maybe when he gets his full number one role, he will be better. But to be honest, even tight end's a little bit of a question mark. He got Dallas Goedert, obviously, but still, I wouldn't say that he's going to be the next tight end. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's still got to prove to himself that he can play, 80, 90% of the downs and go out there and, score touchdowns and be an impact player on the field. He's shown that in a small sample size so far, but he's also shown some inconsistency. But you don't got a good offense line, you don't got a receiver. So how is getting a quarterback for competition going to help you? Because no matter who goes in, it's going to be an issue. Whether, let's just say it's the quarterback they draft, he goes in. He's going to have no one to throw to. He's going to be running for his life every play. And then let's just say it's Jalen Hurts. He's going to have no one to throw to. He's also going to be running for his life every play. It's going to be awful. It's going to be a train wreck. There's going to be an explosion in the Eagles organization. I don't know what in the world they are trying to do. You either draft a quarterback and miss out on receivers and offensive linemen when those are your top needs. That's your top need. You can't guarantee that Jalen Reagor is going to turn it around when healthy. You can't guarantee Travis Fulgham's going to do what he did last season. You need to build around Jalen Hurts. It makes zero sense to draft a quarterback, bring in QB competition. Because also that's another thing. That opens up that's another issue. The person that doesn't make it, whether that's Jalen Hurts or the other quarterback, if they don't make it, there's going to be an issue then. You just wasted a draft pick on a guy that's not even going to be starting. That's such a waste. The Philadelphia Eagles are an embarrassment. They are turning into the laughingstock of the NFL. Yeah, I said that. They're turning into the laughingstock of the NFL with their decision making, with their team, with their roster, because the roster's not very good. And if I was Jalen Hurts right now, I would ask out of Philadelphia right now. Let them go draft a quarterback. Go to a team that actually wants you. It's obvious the Eagles don't want Jalen Hurts. If they really wanted him, they would go out and get an offensive lineman, receiver, build around him, and that would be it if they really wanted him. But they don't want him. They don't. The Eagles are in a very terrible situation right now. And what they just said today, if it really is true, man, oh man, is it going to be fun to watch the Eagles. It's going to be funny to watch the Eagles next season. You're going to be sitting there laughing watching this team. Because it doesn't matter who you draft to your quarterback. If you have no one around you to throw and you have no protection up front, you're not going to be able to succeed in the NFL. It's impossible. It's impossible. You're not going to be able to succeed. The Eagles are entering this rebuild blindfolded and walking backwards. That's what the Eagles are doing. And that's not good at all. I mentioned this a couple of days ago I've mentioned this so many times about the Jets. The Jets for many of these years have tried to build. You can't build a house from the roof down. You've got to build a foundation first. If you try to build a house from the roof down, it's not going to work. You don't got anything. You got to build a foundation first, right? The Eagles, they're trying to build their house they're trying to build right now from the top down. They have no stabilization on the bottom. They have nobody up in that front office that can really make a smart move. The Jets finally seems like they're building a solid foundation. The Eagles aren't. They're trying to build from the top down. You can't do that. You got to build from the bottom up. They always say that, from the bottom up. In sports, that's a big thing. If you want to build a good franchise, you got to start with a solid base, solid guys, and you build your way up. And you eventually get to every team's ultimate goal of a championship. And the Eagles aren't doing that. The Eagles are trying to build from the top down. And that's not going to work. And it's going to fail. It's going to backfire. It's going to look ugly. They're going to turn into laughingstock of the league. Philadelphia Eagles, they don't seem to care. It seems like they want to lose. It really does. Another just outrageous decision by the Eagles that just has all of us NFL fans questioning. Let's read this quick article here. Jalen Hurts not named Eagles starting quarterback. Head coach says it will be open competition. Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni declined to name Jalen Hurts as his starting quarterback Wednesday. When asked about the team's starting quarterback situation, Sirianni said it will be an open competition per ESPN's Adam Schefter. Schefter further clarified that Sirianni said he isn't ready to name a starter at any position, including quarterback, since he has only had 2 days of virtual meetings thus far. Hurts is a heavy favorite to start in 2021 after starting the Final Four games last season. But the Eagles have also have veteran Joe Flacco on the roster, plus they could draft a quarterback next week at some point. The Eagles parted ways with a big part of the quarterback equation this offseason when they traded Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts, leaving Hurts as the best option under center. Hurts began his rookie season as the backup to Wentz after being selected in the second round of the 2020 NFL Draft, but he replaced Wentz for the final month of the season after Wentz posted a 3-8-1 record in 12 starts. While Hurts was just 1-3 as a starter, he showed some flashes of big-time potential for the season as the whole. Hurts completed 52% of his passes on 1,061 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Perhaps most notably, Hurts showed off his elite mobility, rushing for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns on 63 carries. Hurts has a lot of developing to do as a passer and must become more accurate. But the 22-year-old is the closest thing the Eagles have to a quarterback of the future. So there is little reason not to give him an opportunity to prove himself. That the Eagles traded out of the number 6 spot in this year's draft and traded and down to number 12 overall suggests they have no plans to take a quarterback in the first round unless someone unexpectedly falls to them, which seems like maybe that's what they're looking for. Philly could instead look into a quarterback options on day 2 or day 3, with Florida's Kyle Trask, Stanford's Davis Mills, and Texas A&M's Kellen Mond standing out as potential options. Starting Flacco isn't completely out of the question either, as the 36-year-old won a Super Bowl MVP award during his time with the Baltimore Ravens, but he has struggled over the past 2 seasons with the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets, and he is undoubtedly best utilized as a backup and a mentor to Hurts. So, they might not take quarterback first round. It's just the way it sounds. It seems like they're gonna have competition, but maybe they go out and get a quarterback in the 3rd round. It's like a Kellen Mond or it's like Kyle Trask. I said that too. Maybe they don't use their first round pick and go out and get a guy like a Kyle Trask later on. But here's my problem: is like it's really stupid if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, because no matter what, there's gonna be an issue. Because like that's another thing too. What if you draft Kyle Trask? Let's just say they go out and draft Kyle Trask. Okay, we'll start there. They go out and use their 2nd, 3rd round pick. I don't know exactly their pick. They go out and get Kyle Trask. Let's just say that's what they do. So they have Jalen Hurts and Kyle Trask, right? You know, Kyle Trask is going to realize he's going to come into a situation where it's going to be an open battle. He's going to have to earn a spot on the team. But let's just say he doesn't get it. It's Jalen Hurts' shop, which is what the Eagles should do. They shouldn't even have competition. It should just be Jalen Hurts. Let's just say Jalen Hurts gets it. Well, what are you going to do with Kyle Trask? Kyle Trask has got a lot of talent, and when he's got weapons around him, he's very effective. We've seen what he can do. So you're almost wasting a guy's talent. It's almost like, you're good and all, but it's just going to cause an issue. Because there's going to be someone that's not going to be happy. If Kyle Trask, let's just say they draft him, he's not going to be happy if he's backing up when he could be starting on another team. It's just a very bad situation in Philadelphia. Because I just feel like it's a lose-lose no matter what. It's a lose-lose-lose. Because it's either Kyle Trask starts and Jalen Hurts is unhappy. Jalen Hurts starts, Kyle Trask is on. This isn't even Kyle Trask. This is anyone. It's either Jalen Hurts starts and their backup is unhappy, or the backup starts who won the competition over Hurts and Hurts isn't happy. And then another lose is no matter what, they're not going to have much pieces around them to be effective. So they might struggle anyway. But I mean, Jalen Hurts showed what he can do. Yes, he was 1-3, but he had them in those games. He almost led the comeback to the Green Bay Packers. Accuracy is a little bit of an issue, but it definitely can be better. I mean, last season he had 1,061 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And, there's got to be some point where, I don't know. I don't know. if I was Jalen Hurts, I don't even know if you would want to be playing for the Eagles. And maybe the Eagles are doing this as a kind of a wake-up call to Hurts. Like, hey, we like you and all. We think you're a good quarterback. We think you got a lot of talent, but you can't just come in lollygag in the camp and think you're just going to get the job. Maybe the Eagles are doing that. Now, what's the sense? What's the thought process behind that? Maybe they just believe that. Maybe they just believe that he should have some competition. Maybe they believe that, hey, not everything's going to come easy to you. You're not always going to just, walk on and just have just be the starter. Maybe they want to do that, but why do it? It's not like Jalen Hurts did anything wrong. It's not like he said something like, oh, I'm so good, I'm this and that. It's not like he said anything. He's kind of been quiet, and the Eagles are kind of doing this to Hurts. So, I don't know. If anything, Hurts has already been through this. He obviously transferred from Alabama. He lost his job in Alabama. He worked even harder, and he got his job, obviously, in Oklahoma and made the most of it, and now he's sitting here in the NFL. So, I don't know. But he's only 22 years old. He's obviously from Oklahoma. He showed flashes of being the future last season. And it just boggles my mind why in the world this would even be going through the Eagles' heads. Now, let's just say he played last season. He looked terrible. Maybe that's the case. I could see this. Let's just say he played last season. He looked terrible. He wasn't playing well. He wasn't throwing the ball good. He wasn't running. He just looked lost out there. That could maybe be a kind of a wake-up call of, hey, you know what? We got to see competition. But if he played well last season, the Eagles, yes, they went 1-3 with him, but he had the Eagles playing competitive. With Wentz, the Eagles would look lost. He had the Eagles in those games, including the one time where he almost led them to the comeback. The game Wentz got benched, he almost led them to the comeback against the Packers. So, I just don't know where the Eagles. I just don't know. And like I said, I've always been a guy of saying, hey, every organization does it because they feel it's best for the team. So the Eagles obviously feel this is best for the organization, and obviously feel this is best for the fan base in the organization. But the thought process behind it is just insane. You don't really see teams out there draft a quarterback one year and the next season just immediately go ahead and say, hey, after he played 4 games, say, hey, bring in another quarterback. We got to, that's another thing too. He played 4 games. You got to let's see what he can do in a full season first. And that could go for either side. That could go for the side of, hey, I want challenge, and that could go for a side like me that says they shouldn't bring in quarterback challenge. You could go on to the side of, hey, don't bring in another quarterback. We got to see what he can do on a full 17-game slate first off. But man, oh man, are the Philadelphia Eagles really, it's like they're making they're just, it just doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense to me. Now, obviously they believe it's best for the team. They've obviously got some sort of plan. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if it's going to help them or not. But, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And, if I'm an Eagles fan right now, I would definitely be a little concerned. And there was this other thing too, where Nick Sirianni, the head coach, played rock paper scissors during the NFL draft Zoom calls to test the players' competitiveness, which makes zero sense to me either. So, the Eagles are in a very weird situation. They are making a questionable decision at their quarterback. And then you also got to the point where they traded out of the top 10. But, then now if you're going to draft a quarterback, like I said, the Eagles are entering a rebuild blindfolded, walking backwards. That's the way it seems. And I don't know what in the world the Eagles are trying to do and how they think it's going to help them. But obviously, they believe that's best for the team. We'll see how it plays out. Coming up next, we're going to get into the NHL playoff picture. Obviously, around the NHL, there's only about 10 games left. Obviously, only 10 games left for the Rangers, and some more games, 4 games on today, including a big game between the Blackhawks and the Predators. Obviously, the Blackhawks are 1 point out from the Predators, and the Stars are 2 points out. So, take that back. The Blackhawks are 3 points out, 4 points out from the Predators. The Stars are 1 point out from the Predators, as only about 10, 11 games remain. 10 games obviously left for the Rangers, but a lot of these teams, only a couple games left. It's going to come down to a lot of it. I will break down the playoff race coming up next. Alrighty, so it definitely frustrates me a little bit. Obviously, as a Rangers fan, we've had a good season, and if you look at the standings, not trying to be coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, or whatever, not trying to be that kind of person, but if the Rangers were in any other division outside of the East Division, they would be in the playoffs. If they were in the West Division, they would be over the Coyotes with 52 points. Coyotes have 45. If they were in the Central Division, the Rangers would be over the Predators by 1 point. East Division, obviously they're in the East Division. And if they were in the North Division, which is the Canadian Division, they would be over the Canadians by 5 points, including only 4 points behind the 3 spot and 5 behind the 2 spot. So they could even still possibly get a 2 spot. So it really is crazy how the New York Rangers, who have 52 points this season, they might not make the playoffs with 50-plus points, and other teams might make the playoffs with only like 49, 50 points. So it's really crazy. The East Division, everyone said it was going to be complicated. You got the Capitals, Islanders, Penguins, Bruins. When all those teams are playing well and hot, they're arguably some of the top-tier teams in the NHL. So they're all very good teams. But the Rangers right now are currently 6 games out, obviously. But I wanted to get into kind of the entire playoff picture. So right now, as we look at it is the teams that are confirmed in the playoffs, they're not going to move, are these teams. Golden Knights, Avalanche, and the Minnesota Wild from the West Division. From the Central Division, it's the Carolina Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning. From the East Division, it's the Washington Capitals, New York Islanders, and Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Bruins do now have a little bit more of a comfortable lead, but it's them 3. And then for the North Division, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, Winnipeg Jets, obviously Winnipeg Jets with Winnipeg Jets with 44. Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, and then you obviously got the Canadians, who are pretty ahead from. So right now, the best division is the East Division. That's the division with the Rangers, Bruins, Capitals, Islanders, and Penguins. And then obviously you got the Flyers, Devils, and Sabres, but those teams are all out. Flyers are out of it too. They were in it before, but they've been playing terrible lately. So right now, as it looks, there's a very intriguing thing going on, and that's in the Central Division. And you don't see this too often. We saw it a couple weeks ago with the East Division, but how playoff races and how playoff spots change. You see sometimes teams one day is in the playoffs, the next day they lose 2 straight games, and oh, look, they're all of a sudden now not going to make the playoffs. So the Central Division is really intriguing to me, and I'm sure intriguing to many of you who watch hockey. Now, the Hurricanes right now are in the lead of that division, followed by the Florida Panthers. Now, no matter what happens there, those teams are going to make the playoffs. Then you got the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are slightly behind them. To be honest, the Central Division, they're still a complete... You could have the Lightning, who are right now in 3rd place. They could still finish first. They have 62 points. Hurricanes and Panthers are tied with 65. But it gets to this point where the 4th seed in the Central Division, which is where the playoff spot is 51 points. The Nashville Predators have that. The 5th seed is the Dallas Stars, who have 50 points. They are 1 game behind the Nashville Predators. Then you got the Chicago Blackhawks, who are 47 points. They're only 4 points behind the Predators. So, realistically, right now, if the season, with the 11 games left in the year, the Blackhawks, who right now are the 6th seed, could still make the playoffs. That's how close the Central Division is. Now, if you had to ask me who I think is going to make it, the Predators, or not the Predators, the Blackhawks this season had a very good year. Obviously, you got Patrick Kane, who's arguably one of the best U.S.-born players of all time. You got, Connor Murphy and guys like that. You got a lot of good guys on that team. Lankinen, the goalie, and all that. Duncan Keith, who's a veteran defenseman. You got a lot of good guys in that Chicago Blackhawks team. Right? Duncan Keith hasn't had a great year, but he's still a veteran in that locker room, has experience winning, right? So the Blackhawks, they've got talent, they got a good roster, but at the same time, it's almost like they're not quite there yet. The Blackhawks are a team that many people thought were going to be one of the worst teams in the NHL this season, and they just so happen to be playing really well. Now, the 5th seed Dallas Stars, they've got guys like Joe Pavelski and Jamie Benn and guys like that who have really had good seasons, especially Joe Pavelski. Joe Pavelski has broke out this year. I don't think anyone expected him to do what he's been doing. He's had an excellent year this year. He's been a big part of this Dallas Stars playoff push. Now, the one issue with the Dallas Stars is they are without their star player, Tyler Seguin, and that's a big issue. because Tyler Seguin is one of the better NHL players out there, one of the better, overall just players out there, and they're missing him. He's obviously missed this entire year. He had surgery. So that's a big piece. Now, if Tyler Seguin was healthy, I would say that the Stars are probably in the playoffs right now, because the Stars made the NHL. The Stars won it all last season. Obviously, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. But right now, they're in a little bit of an iffy situation because the Dallas Stars are, in an iffy situation right now without Tyler Seguin and guys like that. Dallas Stars are number 5. Then you got the Nashville Predators, who are currently 1 point ahead of all of them at number 4. So, Central Division's really intriguing. And why it's intriguing, too, is not only do you have the 3 teams battling it out for the 4th spot, you also have 3 teams that very well can win it all. You have the Hurricanes, the Panthers, and the Lightning. All 3 of those teams have excellent chances to go ahead and win the Stanley Cup. And you got teams like the Predators, the Stars, and the Blackhawks, who are young, hungry teams that want to make the playoffs. This Central Division's super, super, super fun. It's going to see how it's going to unfold. And tonight's big because you got the Predators, Blackhawks tonight. That's big. That game's huge, and it's not only huge for the Blackhawks, but it's extra huge for the Predators. Because if the Predators lose and the Stars win their next game, just like that, boom, the Predators are not in the playoffs. But I really think, too, this is huge for the Blackhawks. If the Blackhawks lose tonight, I would go ahead and say the Blackhawks are probably not going to make it. I would put my money on it that they won't make it, because then the Predators would be at 53 points. The Blackhawks would then fall back to, they would be 6 points behind with about 9 games remaining. That's a lot of ground to make up, plus whatever the Stars do. If the Stars get hot, then you'll really forget about the Blackhawks. But the Blackhawks win tonight, boom, just like that, they're right back in striking distance, 2 points behind a playoff spot, and then you got the Stars. If you had to ask me, as much as the Predators have had a good year, I just don't see how this Dallas Stars team, when they're healthy and when they're hot, they're a very good team. They're very dangerous. I watched them a couple nights ago when they played the Red Wings. Like, this is a team that's a good team. They're very good on both ends of the ice. They communicate really well, and I feel like this was one of those situations where, as much as they might not make the playoffs, I don't know if I can really see them not being in the playoffs. So right now, the Central Division is very intriguing. Now, the West Division, too, they're actually one of the weaker divisions. But the West Division's obviously got the Golden Knights, you got the Avalanche, then you got the Wild. But other than that, it's kind of weird because you have the Coyotes, Blues, Sharks, and Kings all have realistic shots. The Coyotes are right now in the 4th spot, which is the playoff spot, 45 points. You got the Blues, who are 1 point behind them with 44 points. You got the Sharks, who are 4 points behind them with 41 points. And you got the LA Kings that are 5 points behind them with... you got, 5 points behind them. Obviously 5 points behind them with 40 points. And let me mind you, the Kings also still have 3 games in hand with the Coyotes. And the Kings don't play tonight, Coyotes do. So after tonight, the Coyotes will have 4 games. The Kings will have 4 less games than the Coyotes, which is a great opportunity to make up ground. So it's another division too. The West Division's deep. You have a lot of average teams battling it out for that 4th playoff spot. Now, I would go ahead and say it's probably going to be the Coyotes. I really like what they got going there on defense with Jacob Kitchens. He's had a great year this year, and he looks like he's going to have a really good career. He looks like a guy that's going to be a really big piece down the road with the Coyotes. He's had a really great year this year. And you obviously got a guy, too, with the Blues. You got a lot of good players on the Blues, Tarasenko and, O'Reilly and guys like that. Got a good team on the Blues. Sharks obviously had Patrick Marleau, who just passed the ultimate game mark. And then obviously you got the LA Kings, who have Anzes Kopitar. You still got, Jonathan Quick over there in goal, but he's not the same anymore. Anzes Kopitar, guys like that. The Kings are in an interesting situation where, they got some veterans, but they're not the same Kings team we used to see. So that's another interesting division. I would say the Coyotes probably nail that one down, although the Coyotes do have the Wild today, which is going to be a little bit of a tough matchup, but, obviously, the Coyotes, when their defense is on, they're a very good team. The East Division, like I mentioned, and you got the North Division with the Maple Leafs, the Jets, the Oilers, and you got the Canadiens and the Flames. Now, the Canadiens right now are 47 points. The Flames have 41. So the Flames are 6 points behind the Canadiens. So I would go ahead and put my money on that the Canadiens will make the playoffs. And the Canadiens also have 2 games in hand. Let me mind you that. So I would go ahead and say the Canadiens. The North Division, I feel like, is pretty secure. But other than that, you obviously got a lot of other good battles. Predators, Sharks, Blackhawks, Stars, Blackhawks. And here you got Coyotes, Blues, Sharks, Kings, all with realistic opportunities to hit that 4 spot. So we'll see how it all plays out. But, hopefully the Rangers are obviously one of those teams that come in. But I think today, it's going to be big with the Canadiens playing, a team that they, obviously want to beat. And if the Sharks want any miracle opportunity, they got to pull off some of these upsets like a game today against the Golden Knights. Golden Knights, the team that, the expansion team a couple years ago, has had a very good run so far. So we'll see how it all plays out. But the NHL playoffs are going to be really fun. I'm really excited for it. So with all that being said, let's get into the New York sports update. And we'll finish off the podcast here. As for yesterday in the NHL, the Kings won, Canucks won, Stars won, Penguins won, Hurricanes won, Panthers won, and Bruins won. Rangers lost yesterday 6-1. We moved to 23-17-6 on the season. Like I mentioned earlier, just came out flat. Weren't scoring goals. We just weren't playing well. So we'll see how all that plays out. But anyway, today we got the Predators, Blackhawks. I'll give Predators the win. Wild, Coyotes. I'll give Wild the win. Golden Knights, Sharks. I'll give Golden Knights the win. And in Oilers, Canadiens, give Oilers the win. Some big games tonight in hockey that will translate. That will be big, in figuring out these playoffs. So. In the NBA yesterday, the Clippers won, Timberwolves won, Hawks won, and Knicks won. Nets also won yesterday, 134-129. We moved to 39-19 on the season. Another big win for the Nets. Kyrie led the way with 32 points, had a great game, really took over late in that game. Big win for the Nets. As for today, we got the Bulls, Cavs. I'll give Bulls the win. Suns, 76ers, give Suns the win. Pacers, Thunder, give Pacers the win. Warriors, Wizards, give Warriors the win. Hawks, Knicks, I'll give Knicks the win. They're rolling right now. Jazz, Rockets, give Jazz the win. Spurs, Heat, give Spurs the win. Mavericks, Pistons, give Mavericks the win. Clippers, Grizzlies, give Clippers the win. Nuggets, Trailblazers, give Nuggets the win. And Kings, Timberwolves, give Kings the win. As for the Nets play the Raptors today. Nets come in this game 39-19. Raptors come in this game 24-34. Raptors are 4-point favorites for this game. This game is over under 229 for this game. This game comes on today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Yes 2. I might as well give the Nets the win. I mean, it's at this point we're just ready for the playoffs, as you all know. All right, as for yesterday's games in the MLB, the Brewers won, Angels won, A's won, Rockies won, Royals won, Cubs won, Giants won, Orioles won, Nationals won, Red Sox won, White Sox won, A's won, and Dodgers won. Yankees also won yesterday. Yankees moved to 3-1 on the season. Or Yankees won yesterday 3-1. We moved to 6-10 on the season. Good win. I mean, great win yesterday for us. And we still only had, 5 hits, which wasn't great, but we got the job done, and that's all that matters. So, yeah, 5 hits. Judge obviously had the big hit late. So, 5 hits yesterday. It wasn't great, but hey, we got the job done. We got the win, and that's all that matters. As for today, we got the Phillies, Giants. I'll give Phillies the win. Marlins, Orioles. I'll give Marlins the win. Tigers, Pirates. Give Tigers the win. Astros, Rockies. Give Astros the win. Twins, A's. Give Twins the win. Nationals, Cardinals. Give Nationals the win. Let's see here. Nationals, Cardinals, give Nationals the win. Oh, Angels, Rangers, give Angels the win. Padres, Brewers, give Padres the win. Indians, White Sox, I'll give Indians the win. Reds, Diamondbacks, give Reds the win. Tigers, Pirates, give Tigers the win. Red Sox, Blue Jays, give Red Sox the win. Royals, Rays, I'll give Rays the win. Mets also play today. Nets come in. David Peterson on the mound for the Mets. Davies on the mound for the Cubs. I don't think the Mets will bounce back. I think they'll get the win. As for the Yankees today, Yankees come in this game 6-10. Braves come in this game 7-10. This game comes on today the Braves got Anderson on the mound. Yankees got Corey Kluber on the mound. The over/under for this game is 9. This game comes on today, 6:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find this game on ESPN. 55% of the people say the Yankees will win. Why not? Give the Yankees a win. Now, they got to prove to me to win multiple games in a row before I really start to believe again in this team. So hopefully they do that. All right, but anyway, with all that being said, let's get the fantasy baseball. I'm currently tied 85-85. Today I've got going Jake Cronenworth, Jed Lowry, Josh Donaldson, Carlos Correa, Marcus Simeon, Matt Olson, Whit Merrifield, Austin Meadows, Dylan Carlson, Manuel Margot, Michael Taylor, and Alex Bregman. I have some injury update news to report today. Yerman Mercedes is day-to-day. Mercedes left Tuesday's game against Cleveland after fouling a ball off his left foot. Scott Merkin of MLB.com reports. So he's a big part of my team. Hopefully he gets in there. As for today as well, I got another injury update. Gene Segura got transferred to the IL. Segura was placed on the 10-day injured list due to a right quadricep strain. Scott Lauber of the Philadelphia Inquirer reports. So that's not good. And then obviously I got Frankie Montas and Zach Eflin pitching. As for fantasy basketball, I'm currently losing 490 to 167. Today I've got going Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas, Bradley Beal, or Buddy Hield, Bradley Beal, Jeremy Grant, Trae Young, Kyle Lowry, and Fred VanVleet. Injury update is as followed. Jimmy Butler's day-to-day. Butler ankle is questionable for Wednesday's game at San Antonio. Rinderman of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel reports. And then Jonas Valanciunas also day-to-day. Valanciunas' concussion is out Wednesday against the Clippers. And Kemba Walker's day-to-day as well. Walker illness is unavailable for Monday's game against the Bulls. Jay King of the Athletic reports. So he's still out. Fantasy basketball, it's been a struggle this season. You know, I drafted a good team, but I thought I drafted a good team. I liked the team a lot. But it's not that players haven't been able to come through this season. It's more so that players have not been healthy. That's been the one issue. And, I mean, that's something that's obviously frustrating, but it's obviously something, too, that's out of my control. I mean, I can't control if a player gets injured or not. And to be honest, I didn't think I drafted that injury-prone of a team. And, I mean, I was taking a little bit of a risk drafting Anthony Davis. But, I mean, you know, I don't think many people expected him to be out this long. I took a little bit of, I took a risk drafting Jeremy Grant, not because of injuries, just because of the fact that not many people knew who he was. He's had a great year. It's not that drafting injury-prone players, just the players got hurt. I mean, is what it is. And hopefully, hopefully I can turn it around here and come back, or if we're in the playoffs right now. I finished 7-9 on the season, so, not the most successful year in fantasy basketball. Definitely, last season I had a really good year, was 17-2. So I had a really good season last season, was, dominating, and then this year I've just struggled a little bit. So hopefully next season in fantasy basketball I have a better season. But season's not over yet, so hopefully I find a way to get another win on the season, whether that's this week or if I get to the consolation or championship. But anyway, with all that being said, let's get into fantasy hockey. I'm currently winning 170 to 159. And today I've got going Jeff Petrie, Shea Theodore, Shea Weber, Jacob Kittram, and Adam Larson. And I got Cam Talbot in goal. So that's what I got going there. Hopefully it works out. Fantasy hockey has been very successful this year. Right now I'm winning in the playoffs. Finished 7-6 in the regular season, so the 7-6 record in the regular season could have been much better, but I don't want to look at that too much because at the end of the day, if you win the championship, the regular season means absolutely nothing at that point. So that's what I'm trying to just look at it as. But I've said this all along. Let me get these papers all straightened out here. I've said all along that I during that little bit of a streak I had towards the end of the year, I didn't want to change much because I still believed I had the team to do it, and they're now just starting to play well again. So hopefully that continues. But anyway, with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. It was another really, really good podcast in the books. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.